gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the wall. I shook up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my AKHis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Split Decision, episode 53. Split Decision is a boxing debate / talk show, mixed, master engineered, produced by yours truly, AKHi, the past, present, and future undisputed pound for pound when it comes to debating. So it's a pleasure having y'all here. All of my AKHis in the chat. And all of the decavs, you guys know the motto. You get a VIP pass if you want to debate. Well, we already know the decavs have no cojones. But with that being stated, tonight's show is supposed to be about my man Errol Spence, about the truth. We still gonna talk about him. However, Gary Russell and Devin Haney stole the show with their back and forth, so we're gonna talk about it. So what I'm gonna do, since I know a lot of people want to talk about about the Gary Russell and Devin Haney situation, what I'm gonna do is that's gonna be the first couple topics I'm gonna talk about. Then I'm gonna open up the phone lines. Matter of fact, you could call in right now and hold your position in order to get your thoughts. Like I said, the press conference call is basically a call based on order of the callers. However, if I do have a decaf, I could give them a VIP pass, like I stated before. So if you're a casual fan and you want to be a hardcore, all you have to do is click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live. Pro education in the comment section. Stay clout chasing. You know you could get it. All you have to do, just call in and you see the number viewed in the screen. It's right in front of you. All you have to do is dial them digits. And when you call in, let me know what's your area code so I could pick you first. So with that being stated, shout out to OG in the comment section. Shout out to my bro Ski. Make sure you call in. And like I said, we're going to have fun tonight. But today we're going to talk about Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, and more importantly, Devin Haney and Gary Russell, because you already know they've been going back and forth. They two lions that trying to eat. So we're going to talk about it. So
ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
So Pro Education said VIP me right now. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just call his bluff. You know what I'm saying? See, somebody gonna have to either get Pro Education out of the comment section, one of my AKHis, because the phone lines are open and nobody called in. So I don't want nobody wasting my time. I'm no nonsense type of guy. You want to call in, you are free to call in. The press conference have no callers right now, so you capping. So I caught your bluff. Like I stated before, these decals willing to lie because they got no cojones. Shout out to my man Rich Sky. Off the jump, showing me love in the comment section below. You already know today I really want to fry a decaf. I really want some smoke on some Gary Russell and Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? It's my time today. You already know it's split decision. Ugas had a split decision victory when he really won a unanimous decision. So you already know how the motto go on split decision. It's always a KO in the first round. I don't let it go to the judges. You know what I'm saying? So Now he said, give me 2 minutes. Like I said, you already had more than 2 minutes. I've been talking for like 6 minutes. We already 6 minutes saying the man ain't called in yet. So like I said, these decafs don't got no cojones. They got female parts, and you got exposed already. So let's go ahead and cook the topics today. And just to pro education, since you don't know shit about boxing, listen.
You better not duck me, son.
Ducking
you better not duck me, son.
Because you already know anybody can get it. I wish a decaf would call in. I ran out of decafs on split decision. I can't pay a decaf to call in. And we just getting started, baby. So starting off split decision with the first round, which is Terrence Crawford. He revealed on the hearing fight that he's in talks with Kell Brooks. They in heavy negotiations for November fight for a November date, either in the UK or in the United States, but most likely in the United States, due to the fact that there is no fans, there is no arena, so there's no point to fight in the UK, right? Now, Top Rank sweetened the offer to Kell Brook from 1.5 million to 2 million for the Crawford fight. So it seemed like that's going to be Crawford's next fight, and I'm glad that it's at least a Kell Brook, because Crawford been getting a lot of hate lately from a lot of the fans claiming that he need to fight a name opponent, and Kell Brook is a name opponent. The only difference is with Kell Brook, I must keep the same energy and the same tone that I did with Gervonta, because Crawford himself actually stated that Gervonta didn't fight the same Gamboa he faced, and I co-sign him 100%. It matters when you fight your opponent, and when Crawford fought Gamboa was still Gamboa. However, when Gervonta got to him, he was already down the hill. He lost to a man, I believe, with like 10 losses, with 4 KOs, with a crazy record like that. And you got to think about Gamboa, like he a man that, he was the baby Mike before Gervonta came through, right? So I kept the same energy with Gervonta, right? So I must keep the same energy with Crawford. Kell Brook is not the same version. Is he damaged good? We really don't know, because we haven't seen him against the A-level fighter at the welterweight division ever since he lost to Errol Spence. Because you guys have to remember, Kell Brook, when Errol Spence fought him, he was arguably the #1 welterweight. I believe when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, I think it was around the time when Floyd Mayweather was about to retire, or matter of fact, he probably retired by then. So Kell Brook was arguably the #1 welterweight, him and Keith Thurman, and Errol Spence went overseas and took the strap out of him. However, what Kell Brook did in the process, he blamed the loss mainly on the weight. He kept talking about, I struggle to make the weight, blah, 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 blah. Then 3 years later, he could still make the weight. So it's just not a good look, in my humble opinion, and I got to call a spade a spade. But either way, Kell Brook still beat a Porter. Kell Brook still gave Errol Spence kind of a good fight early on before Errol Spence broke him down. It wasn't the weight struggle that hurt Kell Brook. It was Errol Spence's body shot and his presence in the ring that hurt Kell Brook and broke him down throughout the fight. They don't call my man down for nothing. So all I'm saying is Kell Brook used that excuse and ran with it. Now Crawford is, if he faces Kell Brook, is a good name, don't get me wrong. However, there's a question mark next to his name. Is he damaged good? Is he not? Either way, it's still Crawford's best name at the welterweight division. Now, there's been a lot of question raised. Is Kell Brook going to take the offer? Is $2 million a good deal? Since he got offered, I believe, like around $5 million when he fought Gennady Golovkin, he made $5 million. And Errol Spence, he made a whole lot of money too. So if you're going to fight pound for pound, arguably #1, you're supposed to get paid accordingly. So a lot of people have been showing a lot of concern over the money issue, but I try not to get too much into that. But if we are being realistic, you got to remember, Kell Brook is no longer undefeated. Kell Brook doesn't hold a strap. Kell Brook haven't been active lately. He fought 3 times in the last 3 years, and he didn't even fight at welterweight. So he don't have much of a leg to stand on, is what I'm pretty much saying. So $2 million, in my humble opinion, if Kell Brook really want to fight, is a good offer. If he really want to fight. Now, if he just want the fight to get paid, then yeah, it's not a good offer because he's gonna want more food on the table. So, like I said, in my humble opinion, I think the offer is legit if Kell Brook want to fight, because timing is everything. And Kell Brook versus Crawford is after a pandemic or during a pandemic. There's no fans as well. So you have to put all these elements on the table when you think about it. Because like I said before, Lopez, he's a champion. Lomachenko, a champion. They fighting for unification for 3 straps, because I still consider Devin Haney as the real champion when it comes to the WBC. So Lopez gets paid like $1.25 million, and he's a champion fighting another champion. Meanwhile, Kell Brook get $2 million. Obviously, they bigger guys. Kell Brook more established with his resume. However, Lopez have the momentum right now. He's hot right now. He came off a knockout victory against Comey right now. So you got to put all these elements to the table. So I really think $2 million is a good offer, in my humble opinion. So I'm back said Kell Brook will sell out an arena if the fight is in the UK. Right, he will. But the fight is not in the UK from what I heard. And even if it is in the UK, he can't sell out an arena because they won't have an arena to fight in since the pandemic still exists. You know what I'm saying? So you have to put that in consideration. So I don't really, like I said before, I don't really see that happening. Kell Brook, I believe, does pretty good numbers when he fights in the UK on pay-per-view. Their pay-per-view is around like $20 though. It's cheap, but or 20 pounds. However, the point remains, you know, he kind of still does like around what 600, 400 sometimes, and even sometimes he crack 800 from what I heard. You know, don't quote me on them numbers, but you know, Kell Brook is a huge name overseas. But again, Amir Khan, my man, he finessed the game. He fought Crawford after a Canelo fight. He had a tune-up, and then he fought Crawford for a lot of money, robbed the bank, and you know, laughed to the bank with it. So, like I said, it's a good fight. I will entertain it, but at the end of the day, or at least the night, you know, my man said that means he has a country behind him. Yeah, well, we'll see. Your country can't fight for you though. And my man said Bud versus Brook at 154. That won't happen. That won't happen. What up, Harry? And shout out to everybody in the chat, like I said before. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Gary Russell topic in a few. So that's the next topic we actually got on hand, is the Gary Russell topic. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the topic and then move on to the next round. Like I said, if you want to interrupt me at any time, all you have to do is throw a super chat if you got a question. Hassan Yemen says, "Salam, bro. I think $2 million is good for Brook. He got rocked by a stripper." What do you mean by that? Hold on. He got rocked. Oh, he got rocked. Be safe. Oh, my bad. The computer a little fall. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a good offer, my man. You know, shout out to my IKHi right there. So OG Swag in the chat. My man already came through hot. He already calling out cats for false information, for an emotional opinion. Shout out to OG Swag. That's my IKHi right there. Get him right, IKHi. So on to the next round. So, unless you've been living under a rock, Gary Russell and Devin Haney been going back and forth. So, Devin Haney, he took the opportunity when Gary Russell called out Crawford for the 1.5 million. And he pretty much put it out there. We offer it to you. So Gary Russell came out. He responded to that by stating, listen, that's personal when it comes to Crawford. You business, my man. So put another 0.5. I fight you for 2 million. So I haven't got a chance to give my opinion on that. So my take on it is give him what he asked for, because I will never criticize a fighter for asking for whatever amount, because they risk their life every time they step in the ring. And Gary Russell is moving up 2-weight divisions. So I personally thought the 2 million was legit. However, after a pandemic or toward the end of the pandemic, due to the Rona, I know money's kind of low right now. So I already knew Devin Haney he might not be able to offer Crawford that much amount. So Devin Haney took to his Twitter and he stated, the new way of ducking is pricing yourself out. So when Devin Haney said that, I really knew Devin Haney wants to fight at all costs, because he's pressing Gary Russell buttons. My man, my AKHi, showing love. Like I said, I appreciate the love, my man. And Pro Education, I'll pick up your call in a few. We just got to get this topic out of the way. Finally, you grew some cojones to call in. We'll see if it's true. So I knew automatically that Devin Haney really wanted to smoke, because he pressing every single Gary Russell button. He trying to get Gary Russell to react and take the 1.5 million. So if Devin Haney, for example, he didn't really want to fight Gary Russell, he wouldn't have said anything at all. He would have just played the moment and said, you know what, we try to offer him 1.5, but he wanted 2 million, right? But he kept pressing Gary Russell buttons. So I knew something was going to escalate. We're going to get somewhere with this. I knew that right away. As soon as I saw the tweet, I was looking forward to what Gary Russell had to say. Now, surprisingly, Gary Russell, he actually accepted the $1.5 million. He said, I'm going to call Devin Haney bluff. If you want it, you could get it. Send me the 1.5 million. I signed to fight you, Devin Haney. And you definitely have to respect Gary Russell for that, because he wants the smoke at all costs, and he's willing to take a pay cut, if you want to call it that. So as soon as he did that, apparently Eddie Hearn got told by Billy Haney and Haney, hey, send Gary Russell the offer. Let's see if he's for real. Eddie Hearn did so. Now earlier today, matter of fact, Gary Russell saw, he came out. I posted the video. I'm going to leave it in the link below, where Gary Russell stated that they trying to put Gary Russell claimed that Devin Haney and his team trying to add stipulations in the contract so they won't make the fight. That's what Gary Russell claimed. Now, a lot of people got confused when it came to what Gary Russell said. So let me clear the airwaves, because a lot of people started accusing Devin Haney for wanting no smoke. So this have to do nothing with Devin Haney. This is all Eddie Hearn, because Devin Haney doesn't benefit by putting stipulation in the contract. He doesn't benefit not even a single bit. You know why that is? Because Devin Haney doesn't own DAZN. You could call him Mr. DAZN because he's the future of DAZN. He could possibly save DAZN. But beside that, he don't benefit by putting stipulation in the contract. For example, the stipulation could possibly be, if Gary Russell accept the 1.5 million to fight Devin Haney, he also have to accept multiple fight deal to fight on DAZN afterwards if he are successful of defeating and dethroning the young champion Devin Haney. So pretty much Eddie Hearn trying to capitalize off the moment by having a backup plan in case Gary Russell does pull off the miracle, or I won't call it a miracle, you know, because it is a close fight. But if Gary Russell does pull off the win, then Gary Russell is obligated to fight multiple times on the zone. That's the stipulation that Gary Russell was pointing out. Gary Russell stated that he felt like he was talking to Eddie, and he pretty much was. That's Eddie Hearn doing. That's not Devin Haney. Devin Haney doesn't benefit by putting that stipulation on the contract. Now, if it was a rehydration clause, I should say, or anything of that sort, then that will make sense. But when it comes to him signing like a contract with the Devin Haney fight, that's all Eddie Hearn trying to capitalize on the moment in case Gary Russell does beat Devin Haney. So that pretty much was the case. And even Gary Russell clarified it by stating he felt like he was talking to Eddie, right? Because like I said, Devin Haney doesn't benefit anything from this stipulation. If it ain't no rehydration clause, if it ain't no anything of that sort, then what is Devin Haney benefiting? You know what I mean? Anyways, so Gary Russell pretty much said, which he's correct. Gary Russell is 1000% correct. He shouldn't be signing a contract in order to fight Devin Haney. This shouldn't be happening because they put the same stipulation on Kovalev when he fought Canelo. They told Kovalev, well, if you beat Canelo, you have to fight 3 times on the zone or something of that sort, right? However, Canelo, he was the big money, fighter. He get 33 million a fight. You got to keep in mind, Canelo is a cash cow, the biggest name on the zone, arguably him and Anthony Joshua. And Devin Haney, he's a star. Don't get me wrong, one of the biggest stars at the lightweight division, but he's not at that level right now. He's only 21 years old. So Gary Russell is completely 1000% correct. He shouldn't have to sign a contract or, agree to any of the stipulations that Eddie Hearn want him to agree to. And credit to Gary Russell. He also added, listen, I'm willing to give Devin Haney a rematch. He gets a rematch clause. That's about it. I'm willing to fight him on the zone. I'm willing to also fight him in the rematch clause, possibly on the zone. I don't know how that's going to work. So he's willing to give Devin Haney a rematch. He just doesn't want to have to pretty much sign a contract in order to fight Devin Haney. But like I said before, that's not Devin Haney doing. And Gary Russell, he's 1000% correct on that. He shouldn't be agreeing to any of these stipulations. I mean, fighters, that's their job. All what they do is fight. So why put all these stipulations in order to block the fight from happening? So this is all Eddie Hearn doing. So anyways, now Devin Haney clapped back to what Gary Russell had to say. Devin Haney said, I'm going to beat all the cap out of Gary. Watch. That was on Twitter. He stated, I'm going to beat all of the cap out of Gary. Watch. And when I beat the dog shit out of him, watch him make every excuse in the book like he did with Loma. Devin Haney's taking shots at Gary Russell for blaming the loss to Lomachenko on the fact that he was dehydrated. So Devin Haney is pretty much saying, listen, man, this man's finna make every excuse in the book once I beat him. So like I said, Devin Haney wants to fight. Trust me. Gary Russell also wants the fight. I think Eddie Hearn is kind of blocking the fight in between due to the fact that he's seeing the fact that Gary is a risky fight. You all got to remember, Lomachenko name just got into the mix. Lomachenko, that was his best win. It's Gary Russell. To this day. Lomachenko's best win is Gary Russell. So Eddie Hearn, he knows the risk that's involved. He knows the risks that he's dealing with. So he's trying to capitalize on the moment in case something doesn't go as planned. He got a backup plan. So with that being said, like I said before, I want to see the fight. Devin Haney wants the smoke, as he made it clear. I'm going to beat the cat out of Gary. Now, I don't know why he said cat, because I clearly believe Gary Russell is correct when it comes to him not wanting to agree to the stipulations. But I believe that Devin Haney said that to show the public that he wants to fight. Because you got to remember, if Devin didn't want the fight, all he had to do is wait it out. Because Gary stated, you have a time window. If you don't meet my demands by Friday, which is like 4 days from now, then we don't have a deal no more. I got other plans. I'm trying to fight twice this year. And he's trying to move up to the lightweight division. So with that being stated, Devin Haney, if he didn't want the fight, he could have easily waited it out. Kind of like Anthony Joshua did with Deontay Wilder. Remember, they were in negotiations. Anthony Joshua turned down $50 million to avoid Wilder, which is the $50 million he requested. Then Deontay Wilder said, okay, you don't want to come to the United States? It's A-okay. Send me an offer, and I'll take it. So Anthony Joshua sent him a $12 million flat lowball offer. So Deontay Wilder kept negotiating, and he accepted a lowball offer of $15 million flat in a fight that was going to generate $100 million. What did Anthony Joshua do? Eddie Hearn told the WBO to mandate Povetkin in 48 hours when Deontay Wilder already signed the contract. But I'm pointing out, if you want to find a way out, you're going to find a way out. So Devin Haney really trying to put pressure on Gary, to take the fight, and also let the public know that, hey, I want the fight as well. I want the fight just as bad as Gary Russell. So I believe both fighters want the fight. Like I stated before, I don't think any fighter is maneuvering. Now, a lot of the fans feel that way, but obviously fans take sides. But if we all being truthful, both fighters want the smoke. Both fighters are cut from the truth cloth. So I have, nothing but respect for that. So with that being stated, I'm going to go ahead and pick up some calls. Call in. The number is as viewed in the comment section or in the description box and also in the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up free education. I'm going to give you free education tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up his call. I don't see your number. See, free education really don't have no cojones, man. What's going on? Man, I can't pay a decaf to call in. Like I said, I ran out of decafs. 1 trillion of you decafs can't hold me back. Y'all can't hold the truth from spreading because y'all kryptonite is the truth. Man, 804. Okay, you say 804. We'll see. Free education. You are live on the show. So go ahead.
Yo.
Talk about what you want to debate.
Yo, what's up, IKHi? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Is this free education?
Pro education.
Pro education. Well, I'm gonna give you free education tonight. So what's going on?
Yeah.
You disagree with something? You've been ducking me for the longest. I mean, I don't know how many shows you've been ducking. So since you don't know nothing about boxing, you finally called in. You talk to me. What's going on?
Right. All right. I'd like to say this. First of all, I think that Gary Russell, I think he can beat Devin Haney. And
I got you. I got you. I'm gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But you said you disagree with what I say. You got some. You said you're gonna school me. So talk about what you disagree with what I had to say.
Yeah, you said something about Kell Brook. Kell Brook. You know, I believe Kell Brook can beat Terrence Crawford.
I didn't say that.
Pretty easily, by the way.
I didn't say that. You said I said Kell Brook is gonna beat Crawford.
I didn't.
Now you trying to put words in my mouth.
Kell Brook and Crawford. Something about Kell Brook and Crawford. Yeah, that's right. I believe that.
Hold on, you still haven't told me. I got you. We could talk about whatever you feel like. But you said you disagree with me. You said you're gonna expose me and things of that sort. But you ain't keeping the same. You ain't keeping the same energy. What you talking about? All I'm hearing in the comment section is you talking crap. So I'm trying to figure out where you coming from. So you ain't said nothing yet. You said I said Kell Brook gonna beat Crawford. That's a lie. On more than one occasion, I said Crawford will beat a Kell Brook. That's why I said Kell Brook is over the hill. What you talking about? Hello?
Nah, I said that Kell Brook can beat Crawford.
Okay. So emphasize.
That's what I'm saying. I know that Crawford can't beat Kell Brook. Kell Brook is he's way too strong. He's just way too strong. Just because it's order bones, I get that. But I don't think he's not gonna be able to stop him. I think Kell Brook will come in harder than what he has against Errol Spence Jr. And I feel like he can KO Terrence. Be for real.
Man,
Crawford like later on the rounds.
I'm trying to tell you, Crawford gonna smoke him. You gotta remember, skills pay the bills. It ain't about strength. It ain't about size. Floyd Mayweather always say, it ain't about the fact that you're stronger than me, you hit harder than me, you faster than me. It's about none of that. It's about, are you smarter than me? And Floyd Mayweather was always smarter than every single opponent of his, and that's why he beat every single opponent of his. And that's how Crawford operate. If you ain't Errol Spence, if you ain't the truth, then I don't see you beating Crawford at the welterweight division. Absolutely not, because Crawford is the truth himself as well. A lot of people give him slack because he haven't fought a name opponent, but it's going to come with time. It's going to come with the territory. But that's your opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. They might fight eventually. I don't know if they're going to fight or not, but I'm pretty sure Kell Brook is going to take the fight. So have your man take the fight, and if he does, call back, and you're going to eat your words. I promise you, Crawford will make you eat your words, because that's the same thing that happened with Jeff Horn. But that's just an opinion. That's not a disagreement, because you kept calling me out, but you ain't really bringing up a disagreement to the table. That's an opinion. They ain't fought yet. If you're going to disagree with me, you got to disagree with it when it comes to what I said. If I said something false or incorrect when it comes to the facts that's already printed on documents. But apparently you just got a different opinion than mine. I respect that, but like I said, you got to make yourself a little bit more clear than that. So anything you want to say when it comes to that?
No, that's all I had. The Kell Brook situation, the Gary Russell situation. I think they can beat, Devin Haney.
I got you.
That's about it, man.
And you think Gary Russell gonna beat Devin Haney too?
I think that Gary Russell can beat Devin Haney. I really do. I think that.
I got you. Everybody entitled to their own opinion. Styles make fights.
What's his name?
Now, why you think Gary wins? What do you see in Gary that you feel like he could capitalize on Devin Haney and expose him? What you think?
I think Devin Haney, he got that shock factor when he fights. Like, he's quick, he's fast, he can move, he's got reach. It's that shock factor. And Gary Russell, he ain't that big, but Gary Russell, he don't back down.
What do you mean the shock factor? What do you mean?
That's another thing. The shock factor is like that having a quick jab, always popping your jab, always resetting. Devin Haney, he looked kind of like Floyd Mayweather. So that shock factor is just that. It's something, it's hard to get around him. I mean, yeah, it's hard to get around his jab. And
So
I
you
believe
sound like you picking
that
Devin.
that's the
You confusing me, man.
No. I'm just telling you. No. I'm telling you the advantage of what Devin has. That's his advantage. But why Gary Russell will win is because I believe he's too quick, and I believe he can take a punch, and I believe he's going to outsmart him.
Yeah, Gary is a dog.
He's a little bit more.
He got a couple things on his side. I'll tell you this.
He's a little bit more self-disciplined.
Yeah, Gary Russell have a couple more things on his side: experience, speed, and he's a veteran in the game. So he's gonna use that against a guy like Devin Haney. Devin Haney, on the other hand, he have reach, height, and youth on his side. More importantly, he's a bigger guy. Gary has to move up two-weight divisions, and that's a huge disadvantage going up against a Devin Haney. That's why I can't go against Devin due to the size advantage. But anyways, great talking with you, man. Like I said, I wish you kept the same energy because I thought you really wanted to debate. But with that being said, always pleasure picking up your call, man. Call back.
All right, man.
Peace. Like I said before, man, what is going on? I really want the smoke. IKHi really wanted to entertain his IKHis in the comment section. Every single brother of mine that's tuning in. But what can I say? There's no smoke. It's smoke season every season for IKHi, including quarantine season. But I just can't get any smoke right now. So with that being said, I shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and pick up calls. Call in. The number is as viewed in the screen. You go ahead and pick up another call. How you doing, IKHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
This is Ed from the DMV.
The DMV. Talk to me. So what you got in mind? What's going on?
I wanted to talk about that Gary Russell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So first of all, how you feel about the whole drama, what been going back and forth between the two fighters? What's your take on that first before you give me your take on the fight, et cetera, et cetera?
My take on that is both of them want to fight. You can tell when somebody don't want to fight somebody.
Right.
Like Santa Cruz, he wanted no smoke. Say something to ask him a question. He wanted no smoke, but both of them want to fight each other.
Facts.
But now you got to work with the business side.
Right. Now, how you feel about the business side and what been said?
I mean, the business design, the zone, whatever it's called. Right. You saying they want a three fight deal?
Yeah, well, Gary Russell didn't emphasize, but I'm assuming they want like Gary to sign a contract with the zone if he does upset Devin Haney. They trying to put a stipulation in the contract, but you got to remember though, that's not Devin Haney fault. Let me just make that clear. Devin Haney doesn't benefit anything from this. This is the zone doing and Eddie Hearn, But what they trying to do, from what my understanding, is they trying to put a stipulation in the contract because Gary Russell is a free agent. Al Heyman is his manager, like he is for Errol Spence and every other fighter, but they are free to fight anywhere they want. You know what I'm saying? So what the zone trying to do, they're trying to capitalize on the moment and like, hey, that's a risky fight, so we're going to give him that 1.5 million, but we also going to force him in case he upset our fighter. He's going to have to fight a couple more times on that on our network. On our network.
Right, but that's standard procedure. What promoter in the history of boxing was going to let a fighter come in? If you could take it back to Don King. If you was going to fight one of Don King's fighters, you had to sign some options with Don King in case you beat his fighter. So I mean that the zone, then they will give up $1.5 million to Gary Russell, which is really over. You know what I'm saying? Then Ryan Garcia. He only got $200,000-300,000 on a fight he turned down. So $1.45 million. That's a lot of money right now during this time. So you got to know what the market is. So nobody in the history of boxing a promoter or network is not going to allow a free agent to come in and fight their prize fighter and then take the win and then be a free agent. No, I mean everybody's done that.
They kind of did it with Mikey Garcia. Remember when he fought Jesse Vargas, even though Jesse wasn't no prime fighter of theirs, But the
Yeah,
point
they
is,
no big name.
yeah, but they offered
no big name.
from what we heard.
When Floyd Mayweather had the
Yeah, I just wanted to, you know, in addition to what you said, you know, Jesse Vargas, when he fought Mikey got paid, you know, the reports came out that Mikey got paid nearly $7 million, you know, to fight Jesse Vargas, and he didn't have to move up 2 weight divisions to fight Jesse, none of that, right? So he got paid accordingly and even more, and he didn't have to fight an additional fight. So, or any of that. So so Gary, what he's saying is, listen, I'm gonna give Devin Haney a rematch clause on the zone. I just don't want to sign additional fights because he's already have the weight advantage on me. He's 2 divisions above me, so he should be the favorite. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, but it goes back to business. If I'm a promoter, network, or whatever, I might as well have somebody in my on the zone fight him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take that risk. What's in it for me? What's in it for the zone? If it's just a 1 fight deal.
Well, what's in it for the zone is the fight is going to be huge. Devin Haney and Gary Russell. That's, you know, one of the best fights this year if it does happen.
It's not going to be. I mean, if it's on pay-per-view, how many pay-per-view buys?
Oh no, it ain't going to be on pay-per-view. It's going to be on the zone.
All right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be a huge fight, though. Regardless of any of that, it's a big fight.
Right, but listen to what I'm saying. Right, but okay, this fight anywhere near as big as De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather?
Man, you trying to go all-time records, man.
No.
We talking about just regular fights. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's nowhere near. It's nowhere near. Nowhere near. Yeah,
okay, it ain't nowhere near, right? So that fight was big. Was one of the biggest fights at the time, correct?
Yeah, the biggest.
Correct.
I think one of the biggest. Yeah.
Okay, but in order for that fight to happen, De La Hoya made Floyd Mayweather had to sign over a couple fights to De La Hoya.
I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did though, because
no, he did. That's why he retired after that. If you look at this next, like 5, 6 next fights was all under De La Hoya, but he had to sign. He had to sign over his rights to do that. No, but now Hopkins had to do the same thing when he fought De La Hoya.
Probably. I'm not. That's great information. That's great information. I'm not sure on that because I personally thought.
You can look it up.
I personally thought, you know, when Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, you know, he beat Oscar De La Hoya. He went on to fight Ricky Hatton, and whenever he, you know, after he retired and came back, he was just always using De La Hoya as a promotional company because Golden Boy is a promotional company, and Floyd Mayweather didn't have a promotional company then. He didn't have TMT. He didn't have no promotional company, was so on and so forth, right? But that fight is huge, though. You're talking about one of the biggest fights of all time. You know, we talking about Devin Haney and Gary Russell, and Floyd got paid $25 million in that fight, even though it was a low blow because Gary, Oscar De La Hoya in the process, he took like 80% of the pot, while Floyd Mayweather only took 20%. Yeah. But the point remains, you know, when it comes to Gary Russell and Devin Haney, is a different situation because that fight is not, you know, to that magnitude. You know, like, you know, when Kovalev fought Canelo, he had to find, you know, to do the same stipulation. But again, Canelo is a cash cow. Devin Haney, he's a star on his way to being a superstar, but he ain't there yet for the zone to make them type of demands. You got to remember, Gary Russell is the one that's moving up 2 weight divisions. So he the one that's taking a huge risk. You know what I mean? So if he's going to move up 2 weight divisions and he never fought at lightweight before, then, you know, Devin Haney should be the favorite anyway, if we all being honest. So Gary is the one taking the risk. So I don't think they should put that stipulation because that type of stipulation will block the fight from happening. Because from that standpoint, Al Heyman might not think that's a smart, you know, that's a smart plan. He might feel like, hey, listen, that's not a good offer because they offering you $1.5 million to sign you. You know, that $1.5 million is pretty much to sign you, not just to fight Devin Haney. They signing you with that $1.5 million. So there's no, you know, I can't really say, but you do have good points. You know, I appreciate talking to you. So can you say your last couple comments? I have a caller, so go ahead. You know,
about that logic.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, okay. The last time I'm going to say.
No. Go ahead. Keep going.
That logic, why won't Al Heyman just pay Gary Russell $1.5 million if it's lowballing him? You know what I'm saying?
You mean why? You said why doesn't Al Heyman pay Devin Haney $1.5 million, right?
Right. If you're saying Al Heyman, if Al Heyman is like, man, don't take that offer because whatever, you know, why don't he have a counter offer and put
according to Gary,
manager?
I got you. According to Gary, he stated that Devin Haney is the champion and he's moving up 2 weight divisions to challenge for his title. So the champion is the one that offers the fighter. Like Terrence Crawford, he's offering Kell Brook because he's the champion. So they're not fighting for Gary Russell title. They fighting for Devin Haney title. So it's the champion who put the money on the table. That's according to Gary Russell. That's why Gary Russell said Al Heyman told him, hey, listen, they got to come up with the money because you challenging for their title. They're not fighting for your title. Yeah. If they fighting for your title, we could offer them some type of money. But there is no possible way Devin Haney could move down 2 weight divisions to fight Gary Russell at 126. So Gary Russell said, I'm going to move up 2 divisions. Therefore, they fight for Devin Haney title. So Devin Haney has to come up with the money. So any last couple comments before I let you go? Because I got a lot of callers on the line.
I mean, just to counter against that, didn't you just say they offer Wilder when Wilder was champion? Then Al Heyman and them offer
they both champions, my man. See, the key, they both champions at the same division. You see what I'm saying? They both champion at the same division.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Anyways, any last couple comments before I let you go?
No, that's it, man.
I appreciate it, man. I had a great conversation with you, my man. Make sure you call again. All
right, man. Talk to you later. Okay, cool.
All right, peace. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up another call. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is, and where you calling from?
It's Ron. This Ramon on the roof. What's up, AKHi?
Oh, chilling. How we feeling?
Yo, you got me blocked, bro.
I got you blocked.
Yeah, I just tried to chime in.
What do you mean I got you blocked?
On the chat?
Oh, well, that ain't me, my man. That's my mods. I don't know what you said, but I don't think my mods don't block anybody though. You're probably on timeout.
Don't mean shit no more. Them records don't mean shit no more. Them records don't mean shit no more. We gonna talk boxing. Let's just talk boxing.
What records?
Take over your channel, bro.
What records?
I called in to chime in. On the whole Gary Russell.
What records? You said them records don't mean shit. So what do you mean by that?
I said the riches don't mean shit.
The who?
Talking about the riches don't mean shit. Stop letting people take over your chat, bro. It was probably the dumbass nigga H Money, but I ain't calling to talk.
Oh, well, I don't even. Hey, listen, my man. I don't even mess with that dude. So don't even bring up his name because, like I said, he banned from this channel. He already got exposed on split decision. So let's not even talk about him. So if it is broke money, what we gonna do? We gonna get you back. Like I said, I don't keep up with the mod. The mods. I got people that I trust from OG Swag and RJ that keep up with it. And I told specifically, I informed all my mods that I don't want them to block anybody. If anything, just put them on timeout unless it's really a racist fan that's really flooding the comment section. But anyways, I'll make sure I'm gonna look into that. But go ahead, talk to me.
Yo, this whole situation with Gary Russell and Devin Haney, it's capping, bro. That's probably not gonna happen.
So who's capping?
You know why it's not gonna happen? You know why it's going? Oh, who's capping?
Who's capping?
Well, personally, it's kind of really like Gary Russell capping because Devin Haney is on a different network, and I feel like this. Eddie Hearn don't really negotiate with PBC, does he?
Nah, not from what I know. Like I haven't. There's no. Oh well, they did make Canelo. They did make Devyachenko versus Gennady Golovkin, which that's a PBC fighter who fought a DAZN fighter. So it's makeable.
But but it was a Euro crowd. It wasn't an American-based crowd. Eddie Hearn,
the fight was in America,
really
right?
come to the American side.
Yeah, that fight was in America, though.
But you know what I'm saying? It's about the fan base. We know that Eddie Hearn doesn't really deal with black events. At least I know. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep it real, bro.
So what's
this is all cap, bro.
You think Gary capping?
All cap. And I blame Bob. What's his dad's name? Devin Haney Pop. I blame him in a lot of ways. Cause he ain't got no pull over there to be sitting up there acting like he gonna get a fucking fight. Let's keep it real, bro.
So you saying? So let me. I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from. So you said you think Gary Russell capping, but you blame it on Billy Haney. Why you say that?
I'm not blaming it on Bill Haney because I know how they try to deal with what they trying to deal with to get big fights. So they over there working just as hard as we trying to work to try to see the fight. But it's really on Eddie Hearn whether he want to deal with another promoter. You see what I'm saying? Like, Bill can talk all that high power shit all he wants. This don't mean the fight's gonna happen. He can talk money all day long. We're just boxing fans. This is running right here. All these dudes around here capping to me. That's why I ain't been watching none of this show. It's all cap.
Man, hey man, you dragging me, man. So which one is it? Who capping? Because you saying everybody capping?
You think this fucking fight gonna happen?
Man, I think the fight gonna happen, bro. It has to happen. I mean, all this back and forth? They already agreed to everything. The only thing that's blocking the fight is the stipulation when it comes to signing Gary Russell under the zone, which Gary Russell trying to avoid. You know, he don't want to do that in order to fight Devin Haney. He just want to fight Devin Haney. So if they remove that stipulation from the contract, as far as I know, it's a go.
I heard that Bill Haney said, like, we're gonna try to get you over here for 2 more fights. Is that true? Like, meaning if we fight, I want you to sign like to 2 more fights. That way I can make my boss happy.
According to Gary Russell, yes, that's true. That's the stipulation, but it's not Billy Haney, it's Eddie Hearn. You know, Billy don't benefit with Gary Russell fighting on the zone. It's Eddie Hearn in the zone that's benefiting.
So they're basically trying to steal Gary Russell away from Al Heyman.
They trying to get a backup plan.
Happen, yo. The fight's not going to happen, yo. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Any last couple comments? Because I'm having a lot of callers. So any last couple comments before I let you go, man?
I really called in to understand, like, how would I get blocked? I was like one of your biggest supporters when you first started out.
So what's your name? Because like you know me, I don't you know, I'm not the one that's, you know, in control of that right now. I don't even, because I mix master engineer the show, so I don't even have time to keep up with the chat. I trust my mods, which is RJ, also OG Swag and them guys. But there's this cat named Broke Money. And you already know I had to expose him on Split Decision. It's the same cat that talked down on Errol Spence during the car crash and disrespected my man. I didn't even know all that. So once I found out, I gave the man the work. So he probably did do you like that. I'm not sure. You know, you said you know he was a mod before I removed him from being a mod. That's the only person I personally removed. So other than that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody. But I don't think any of my people will do such a thing. You know what I mean? Unless you say some racial comments in the chat box. If you don't say no racial comments.
Well, you know what? Well, you know what? I respected your platform from day one. I know I'm familiar with OG Swag. But like, what I'm saying to you is that, like, I've always been a supporter of your channel. This type of shit can't be happening. Niggas got beefs with other people, bro. Like, meaning, I've never been a racist. I'm black, first of all. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just a boxing fan.
What's your channel name? What's your channel name?
Well, I got a channel, but I never like put my channel out there like that. My name is. That's who my name is.
No, I'm saying, what's the channel that you be in the chat with? Because you gotta have a channel in order to be in the chat. So you saying somebody blocked you. So in order for me to remove you from being blocked, I gotta know the name of your channel that you use in order to chat.
It's my name. It's my name, Aki. I've been my name since day one. I've been a YouTube.
What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it?
My channel name is Ronald Finkley. My name. It's my name, Ronald Finkley. That's my chat.
All right, I'm definitely look into it because you know OG Swag. That's my IKHi right there. You know what I'm saying? I trust him, so I'm gonna see what's going on.
All right, one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna see what's going on. Peace.
All right, one. Peace.
Yeah, so like I said, I definitely trust OG Swag with everything. He ain't, he a mob for a reason. That's my broski. That's an A1. So, but I'm definitely look into it. How you doing, IKHi? Who this is, and where you calling from?
Yo, this BK Ewing. I'm calling out of Kansas City. What's up, IKHi? How you doing, brother?
Chilling, IKHi. Talk to me, man. So what's going on? How you feel? Is it you want to talk about Devin Haney situation with Gary? How you feel about that?
Well, I want to get to that, but I want to mention real quick something that you might not have seen. It's kind of off topic on that, but it was the final numbers on Money Mayweather and Pacquiao came in at 5.7 million pay-per-view.
Man, that's what's crazy.
The other numbers.
You know what's crazy though, right?
Yeah.
I had that topic listed as one of the main topics today. So it's crazy you mentioned that. So great minds think alike. I saw that. And you could go ahead and finish because, I'm going to inform the public as well. But go ahead and inform it to the public. And first of all, say who this is again because you came in hot today.
Okay, this is BK Ewing. I'm out of Kansas City. So, I'm great to be on the show, man. Great to hear your voice, man. I've been a fan for a long time, man, and I'm always, down with you, man. We think alike. It's like you said, we think alike, man. And so when I saw the numbers, man, I didn't want to, usurp one of your shows or something. But when I saw the numbers, man, I said, man, I got to mention this because I remember the decaf saying, oh, man, Floyd waited too long for this fight and they ain't going to never do the numbers that he thought he was going to do.
Right,
you know how they talk, man.
Yeah.
But, he broke that 5.7 and then Conor McGregor finally came in at 5.1. So ain't nobody going to never touch them kind of numbers.
Nobody going to touch that. No more. Man, you ain't going to see that no more, like you said. So the numbers were, I believe, and when Floyd Mayweather fought Pacquiao was 4.6. That was reported in around 2015, 2016. And I informed the public that was the numbers in the United States, not worldwide. So I told everybody that will listen that the fight actually did 5.7 million a long time ago. I reported that on Dante's Boxing Nation. Everybody was like, oh, man, that's not true. The fight didn't do that much. Nobody wanted to see it. And it's like, man, the same people that said that are the same people that tuned in and paid for the fight. But the fight actually did 5.7 million pay-per-view. That's not including the streams, none of that. And that's record breaking. That's why Floyd Mayweather nearly made 400 million for that fight.
Yes, sir. That's what they were saying, man. The money just climbed up for both of them. I think what they initially got like 250 million for Floyd and like 175, 150 for Pat. Yeah. But now we talking 400 million for Mayweather alone.
Crazy. That's crazy. Hey, that's why he robbed the bank, man. Because you got to remember, because you said a lot of the decafs be like, oh, Floyd Mayweather waited too long to make the fight happen. Nobody cared. But funny enough, if we all being truthful and if we all being honest, it was Manny Pacquiao that ducked the fight in 2009. Exactly. He blamed it on the needle. Exactly. So you either believe that Pacquiao was on steroids or he ducked the fight. Right. There's no other options. Exactly. Either Pacquiao was on some or he ducked the fight. So you could pick either or. But the main thing is Floyd Mayweather tried his best to make the fight happen. He offered Pacquiao a 50-50 split, including pay-per-view and all of that, with 50 million guaranteed. That's in 2009. And Pacquiao turned it down due to a needle, claiming that he don't like needles, even though he got tattoos. So that's a ridiculous excuse. And we already know Floyd Mayweather, the pioneer of drug testing. And we see fighters left and right getting busted for steroids, from Tyson Fury to Canelo Alvarez. And the list goes on and on from Jimenez. And I could go on all day.
Oh man, you sure can, man, because there's so many of them out there with this wild boar and this ain't it and that ain't it, all these damn excuses, man.
Right.
I'm tired of it, man. I just want to see real fighting, and I do hope this thing with Devin and Gary Russell come forth, because I think both of them, I mean, especially Gary Russell, I think Gary Russell, he want all the smoke. I call him like Scrappy Doo, right? Remember the little cartoon character Scrappy Doo, let me at him, I splat him. That's Gary Russell, man. He like, whoever they come get this smoke, right?
Right.
So I think, I watched the whole thing with 7-8, the whole thing, man. I was checking in, on it, and saw Bill Haney and all the fellas up there, brainstorming, trying to get this fight going. But in a way, like my man just got off the phone and said, man, Bill Haney is captain. He ain't really got nothing to do with it. He's just a father figure in there. Yeah, he's the president and on his son's side and all that. But he ain't got nothing to do when it comes to the numbers. We know that's all Eddie Jern, right? Because that's why I call him Jern, because we always protecting him.
Eddie Jern.
Right? So Eddie Jern.
Man, this is the fire session right here.
Eddie Jern is just he just contaminating everything. He like the corona damn virus of the zone right now. And so he kind of messing this thing up.
Oh, man.
Just go to the table and just negotiate it head on head, one-on-one. I don't think it'll be no stipulations. I think the fight will get made. I don't think Gary Russell is afraid to fight none of them cats. I got my man back 100%. I think it'll be a great fight. Devin got the height, the youth, and that long reach. But Gary Russell, people don't know this about Gary Russell. He's a right-hander, really. He's really not even the southpaw. But he's so experienced that he can fight either way, and his power hand is right up front. So if having Devin Haney make a mistake and jump in there too quick, that right hook gonna put him night-night. We know that. We know that Gary Russell can knock him out. But the thing is, man, we should have a tournament. Let's just say this, for instance. The truth being told, we need a 126 tournament right there, because we got some good fighters here. We got Leo Santa Cruz, we got Frampton, we got whoever else we got. Oh, we got a whole bunch of fighters there. Why not have a tournament? Shakur Stevenson, all them cats. Then the winner gets Haney, because it's a move up. It'll be like a prize, man. That's the way you move up. The winner always beat the guy, then he move up to the next weight class, because everybody can pretty much say he dominated this weight class. You know what I'm saying? Because if you beat, it's like when Andre Ward won the Super 6 tournament. Was anybody questioning Andre Ward's validity?
Right.
Nope. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what we're missing in the sport of boxing. Yeah, you made a lot of great points. Right. I just want to follow up with what you said. Now, first of all, you're right. If it's up to Devin Haney and Gary Russell, they fight tomorrow. There will be no stipulation and none of that. Like I said, the zone and Eddie Hearn just want to capitalize on the moment, and they're trying to take advantage of Gary Russell. With that being stated, if we have tournaments in the sport of boxing, boxing will be the biggest sport than any sport. The reason why, because, man, everybody is down to watch a great fight. See, a lot of people don't know really much about football. Some people, not every single person is a fan of soccer ball. Basketball is entertaining, but it's so much going on. So all these are great sports, but nothing tops a great fight in the sport of boxing. The best versus the best, the baddest man, not on the planet, but well, let me say this: the baddest man on the planet in that division, at that weight class. And like you said, if we do tournaments, that will solve all of that. That will clear up the one face, one name in every division. We will have pretty much a Super Bowl in every division. Every month in the sport of boxing, we're gonna have a Super Bowl in every month. I mean, can you picture that, having a Super 6 in every division where the best competing against the best? And man, it's going to be fireworks all year round, and it's going to make the boxing the biggest sport. Because you remember when Ali was around, Ali was bigger than boxing. Ali was the only fighter that was bigger than boxing. They knew boxing by knowing Ali. When you talk boxing, you got to talk Ali. Then when Floyd Mayweather came, that's as big as boxing gets. However, Ali was bigger than boxing. But if we're trying to keep up that momentum and make boxing great again and make boxing the biggest sport of all time, all we have to do is let the best fight the best in the damn tournament. But, man, all these networks and promotion blocking everything.
Check it out. I guess I just got a new hat for you, a new marketing gig. You just said it. make boxing great again. You know, like those MAGA hats, you're going to get one with make boxing great again.
Yes, sir.
MBGA.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's a great one, too. Facts.
But yeah, hey, man, grew up in that era with Ali. You know what I mean? I'm a 55-year-old cat, but I love boxing, man, and I've been with it all my life, you know, done a little bit when I was in the Army and everything, too. So, you know, for me, you know, this is my sport. This is my sport. I do jiu-jitsu. My whole ass out there doing jiu-jitsu, but I still do it, you know. But to me, this is a love for me, the combat sports. And I think boxing would be everything that you said it would be, man. If we just get these tournaments going, we can get these eliminators and then the best of each division. If you want to climb up, or, you know, you guys want to make catchweight fights in and meet somewhere in between the two greats, the big great man and the great little man fight. Hey, ain't nobody gonna be complaining about that.
Nope.
Everybody will be happy.
Yeah. And now,
you know,
but now Gary,
happen,
like nowadays, for example, you see Gary, he can't fight none of the fighters in his division, from Cruz to Frampton, and any fighter you can name. Like, you know, and that's just wrong. Like that's hurting Gary Russell as the fighter, it's hurting the sport, and it's just hurting everybody, period. It's hurting fighters' pockets. I mean, and it's hurting promoters' pockets as well, because the best fights aren't fighting the best, and that has to stop in the sport of boxing. So before I let you go, lay out your last couple comments, man. It was great talking to you, AKHi.
Yeah, no doubt, man. One last thing, I just wanted to get your take on who you thought would win between Gary Russell fantasy fight 126 with Shakur. I mean, I know it could happen.
It could happen. You know, that fantasy could happen. But everybody that's listening, they know how I feel about Shakur. I feel like he the next pound for pound number one. I feel like he the next Floyd Mayweather, in fact. And when I say that, I mean he the next great. So I can't go with Shakur. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I can't go against Shakur. I mean, anybody that fights Shakur, I'm gonna have to pick Shakur. It's gonna be a tough fight for Shakur because Gary does have a lot of experience and he's a slick southpaw with a lot of hand speed. So it's definitely gonna be a fight. But if I have to give it to somebody, I definitely have to give it to my man, Sugar Shakur. What's your take on that?
Okay, cool. My take is, man, I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be I'm praying that it happens, but I think it'll be a damn good fight either way it goes. Gary Russell, just like you said, the hand speed, I give it to Gary Russell. I guess the overall whole fight game, I would give that to Shakur. But Gary got the equalizing factor with the experience. But Shakur got the height. So you got so many,
elements.
These boys, they so even in so many areas, that one area cancels out the other area. So I just, I don't care who wins. I want to see the smoke. Okay. Right. I want to see the fire. I want to see them added. I want to see them, I want to see somebody catch some hands. Okay. Because I think, my man, I love Gary Russell. I got to go against you on this one. I think Gary Russell will do it, man, because of the experience factor.
Gotcha.
I think Shakur is just a little too green right now. A little too green. It's kind of like when they was trying to get Mayweather and Cotto to fight at that time when right after Mayweather destroyed Gaddy. And what Bob Arum say? Oh no, Cotto was a little too green. I think that'll be the case with Shakur right now. Later, because Gary Russell gonna get a little bit older, as Shakur start to really build, then I think that'll be prime time for Shakur to step in there and take him out.
Yes,
so now, can't see it happening, bro.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great assessment. Great talking to you with you, AKHi. Make sure you call again. I believe this is my first time talking to you, but definitely need to call again.
No doubt, brother. You stay up, man. Love the show, man. Keep doing good things.
I appreciate it, AKHi. Thank you for calling in. So I'm gonna go ahead do a couple more topics, then pick up calls. So I'm gonna make sure I pick up everybody. So just stay tuned. So obviously, let me go ahead. Moving on to the fourth round, Errol Spence. Man, the truth said, I eat, sleep, and shit boxing. I haven't heard that one before. So he said that he's ready for Danny Garcia. He stated Danny Garcia is one-dimensional, and he only has one gear. which was a great assessment. What I love about Errol Spence, man, he always described the fighters he about to fight perfectly, man. Like he did the same thing with Sean Porter, and now he's doing the same thing to Danny Garcia. So I just love the precision by Errol Spence when it comes to the jab he takes with trash talk without even trash talking. I call it classy talking. So with that being said, you know, like I said, that was a great assessment because Danny does have one gear. However, he is really good at that one gear. He a counterpuncher, a very patient counterpuncher, and he looked basic from the outside looking in. You know, like if the people that's, you know, that's not too familiar with boxing, they watch Danny Garcia and see nothing special. But what he does works and it's effective. You know, it's basic, but it works. He have good power. He have good hand speed. He have an iron chin, and he's very strong. People want to say he's, you know, flat-footed, but he showed that he could move around and dance around lately. He showed his boxing skills. Trey, Rob, Eastside. I appreciate the content, bro. Much love from Cali. I appreciate the love and support to every single one of my AKHi. So shout out to my brother, my broski, my AKHi, Trey, Rob, Eastside. So, like I said, you know, Danny Garcia from the outside looking in, he don't look like much, but the man showed that he got skill, he could box. However, against an Errol Spence, like Errol stated, he could do it all. One thing about Texas fighters, they pretty tough. But Errol Spence is a fighter from Texas that studied the game and the sport of boxing in what you call the new motherland of boxing, Vegas. In Floyd Mayweather's gym, he got all that experience when it comes to technical sparring, skill sparring. Because from what I heard, when it comes to Texas, you got to be a dog to survive a sparring match over there. But when you go to Vegas, it's more of a technical sparring and more of skill sparring, right? So Errol Spence got the best of both worlds. He known in every gym. Before Errol Spence made it, he was very popular in gyms for kicking ass. Errol Spence is known for being the truth from day one. Even Freddie Roach said it. Freddie Roach, for the people that's not informed, when my man Dante asked who is going to be the next pound-for-pound fighter to take over Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao once they retire, Freddie Roach responded, "What's that guy from Texas?" And my man Dante told him, "You talking about Errol?" He said, "Yeah, that man Errol Spence, he could fight." And he definitely wasn't mistaken. He saw something great in Errol Spence, and we all see it today. I told everybody that will listen, Errol Spence is our version of Sugar Ray Leonard. He has his own style. He has his own personality, and he's always speaking the truth on the mic. So I just meant like the how popular he's going to get. I feel like he has that, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard persona or it factor to be a superstar. However, just like his nickname, The Truth, he's always speaking out for his people. So I definitely respect that 1,000%. I'm looking forward to the fight, man. I can't wait. I'm telling you, you know, obviously it's quarantining, but I'm throwing a party that day and everybody is invited. When Errol Spence fight Danny Garcia is going to be a hell of a night. And I'm looking to see if if Errol Spence could do something that nobody was able and capable to do, which is, can Errol Spence stop Danny Garcia? Because Errol Spence, you got to remember, he goes to the body like it's filled with candy, right? Also, Danny Garcia, he don't like it to the body. A lot of fighters that could take it on the chin don't like it to the body. I recall when Danny Garcia fought Lamar Pearson. And Lamar Pearson, he had the right game plan. He was boxing early on, and then he turned it up later on. And then he started going to, and he was digging to Danny Garcia's body. Lamar Pearson, I believe in the 8th round, matter of fact, hurt Danny Garcia to the body. So that blueprint right there If Errol Spence could capitalize on that, he could possibly stop Danny Garcia to the body. Body first, head second is the way to stopping Danny Garcia. And I think Errol Spence is very capable of doing so. And funny enough, Errol Spence brought up the Lamar Pearson fight. He said the last time he was really where he was supposed to be at is when he fought Lamar Pearson. After that, he pretty much started gaining weights in between fights, and he kind of took a left turn. However, after the Miracle, he realized that you don't get to live twice. So he definitely taken advantage of this, and he a walking miracle. So he learned his lesson, and now he's more focused than ever. Like I said before, Errol stated what he does on the daily is eat, sleep, and shit boxing. So Errol Spence back on his tunnel vision, and I'm glad, that the miracle that Errol Spence survived is more of a wake-up call. You don't want it to go that far. However, at the end of the day, you live and you learn. Life is a life lesson. Life is just a bunch of lessons. So with that being said, before I pick up calls, I got one more thing to bring up, which I felt like Errol Spence was nearly, responding to me, because I made a video on Ugas calling out Terrence Crawford for unification, right? Because he had the regular title. And the only reason why I said the unification, because you guys got to remember, if Crawford does fight Ugas, then Ugas' title is going to be on the line. So a lot of people don't consider the regular WBA title as a legit title. But if Crawford is going to fight Ugas, I'm pretty sure he's going to want that title to be on the line. What sense does it make for Crawford to fight Ugas, but let him keep his title if he loses, even if it's just a regular title, not the actual legit championship title, which is the super title under the WBA, right? Anyways, Errol Spence came out today, and this is what he had to say. Let me bring it up real quick. Errol Spence stated, and I quote, "I don't know what's what. So Manny is the super champion and Ugas is the regular champion, question mark. Do every section in body have a regular and a super champion?" And then he also added, "Are the fees the same percentage?" Laughing emoji. So can someone get all the secondary belts and be undisputed or not? So Errol Spence is just confused over what's going on in the sport of boxing. I always raise my concern when it comes to that. Like I said, just to count it for the people that's not informed, I hope I don't confuse a lot of people. But in the sport of boxing, unlike UFC or any other division or any other sport or compact sport such as Muay Thai or you name it, in the sport of boxing, it used to be one face, one name in every division back when Muhammad Ali was fighting. So your mandatory was pretty much another champion nowadays, if you want to call it that. So as the sport developed, promoters wanted to find new ways to promote fighters. They wanted to promote them as champions, so they created more titles. And because of the new titles that got created, that confused the fans. Now every division have multiple champions. Now you don't know who the champion is. And then boxing went from regular television like ESPN and Fox Sport to subscription television like HBO and Showtime, which limited the amount of people that could view the fight. So as time went on, after the Muhammad Ali days, other sports got really popular. Soccer was always popular in basketball, but not to the extent that they are today. You know what I mean? So football as well. So there's more sports on TV, on free TV, matter of fact. Meanwhile, boxing was on HBO for a long time till Floyd Mayweather and Al Heyman left HBO and destroyed the biggest boxing entity, creating PBC in the process. So boxing lost a lot of its popularity with time due to all of the things that I just mentioned. So in every division, there's multiple organization, multiple sectioning bodies, such as the WBC, the WBO, the WBA, the IBF, and someone want to consider the IBO. A lot of people don't. But just to bring it up to inform the fans. Now, that's 4 to 5 different titles, 4 legit titles that a lot of fans consider as the real titles. Now, a lot of these titles have a lot of different names to many different titles, such as the WBC. They have a title called the French Fries title, the franchise title, which is you got to have the complexion for the connection. If you have the complexion for the protection, you could win this title. You don't have a mandatory. You could just win it. Just if you have, like I said, the complexion for the protection. And it's a witness protection belt. It's not a championship belt nor a strap, according to the WBC president himself, Suleiman. There's also the regular title, which is the regular WBC title. There's also a diamond title, and there's an interim title. This is 4 different titles under one organization. And just to make matter worse, the WBC announced that they could have multiple French fries champions in every division. They could have up to 3 French fries champions per division. So, for example, in the lightweight division, Lomachenko, they gave him a French fries title to avoid his mandatory Devin Haney when he won a vacant strap. So, in other words, he's obligated to fight 2 mandatories since he fought for a vacant strap. Ironically, he a whole champion and he fighting for vacant straps. But obviously, he got the complexion for the connection anyways. So they told Devin Haney, if you fight Lomachenko, you can't win the French fries title. However, recently, news came out that Lopez, if he beats Lomachenko, then he gets rewarded the franchise title as well. So both Lomachenko and Lopez going to be French fries champions at the same damn time. Don't ask me, ask the WBC, the We Be Cheating organization, the World Boxing Organization. So again, if Lopez beats Lomachenko, he get a franchise title. Lomachenko doesn't lose his title because with a WBC French fries title, you can't win it nor lose it, according to the rules. Now, if Devin Haney beats Lopez, for example, if they fight after that, does that mean Devin Haney wins the franchise title as well? So we're going to have 3 simultaneously champions per division when it comes to this French fries title. So that's what? 7 WBC titles per division. Moving on, the WBA, which Errol Spence was very confused about because currently the regular champion in the welterweight division is Manny Pacquiao. Excuse me, let me take that back. The regular champion currently is Ugas. He just won his strap in a split decision win last night where he nearly got robbed. So Ugas is the regular champion because the regular champion supposedly got tested positive for steroids. So Ugas fought for his vacant strap against Ramos. Meanwhile, Manny Pacquiao was the regular champion prior of fighting Keith Thurman, who was the super champion. So Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman, so he got elevated to the super title. He took Keith Thurman's title from him. Now Manny Pacquiao is the WBA super champion. So the super champion, I know a lot of people are concerned where the heck this title came from. How did it get made? So back in the day when Prince Nassim Hamid was still fighting, back in his time, you have to defend your title up to 10 times in order to win a super title. Now, if you may wonder, what the heck is a super title? Back then, a super title is a title that you don't have to defend your mandatories. You don't have to defend your title against mandatories. So if you defend your titles 10 times against either champions or your mandatories, then after 10 title defenses, you get this super title because now you are a proven champion over a period of time and you're not obligated to fight your mandatories. However, they changed that rule over time. After Prince Nassim Hamed retired and many more fighters, now they giving out titles. Just like the WBC, the super title now is basically a title they giving out. You don't have to defend your title 10 times in order to win a super title. Now the WBA have a super title, which a lot of people consider the real title. Most consider the real title. And then the regular title, which is the WBA, that now is not really considered the real title, which is, I don't know what's the purpose of the regular one and the super, but I guess now what they're trying to do to justify it is if you're the regular champion, you could now eventually fight the super champion. They could mandate you to fight the super champion, which is another word of interim title. However, they still have the interim title for the regular title. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, the IBF is pretty much the one that's not a whole bunch of confusion is going on. The IBF, from what I'm informed on, they only got the regular IBF title and also a mandatory or an interim title, which I love that by the IBF because the IBF also have the rehydration clause. Everybody want to call it, call Errol Spence a weight bully, but every time he fights, he can't rehydrate more than 10 pounds the next day. So how is he a weight bully? You know what I mean? But obviously haters going to hate, especially on the truth. So IBF is the one I respect the most because of that. And they also really mandate whoever is the mandatory. They really force that, unlike the WBC. Charlo was like the mandatory for 2 years. And he still didn't fight Canelo. They gave Canelo a French fries title that he requested. So Canelo pretty much owned the WBC. Just like Lomachenko, he requested a French fries title to avoid Devin Haney. It's pretty much made for these fighters on the hope list to abduct these fighters on the coincidental list. That's why I respect the IBF title the most. And then you also have the WBO title, which a lot of criticism have been made of the fact that Bob Arum have the WBO titles in his pocket. For example, when he signed Lomachenko, Lomachenko got a title in 2 fights because Bob Arum guaranteed him on the contract, oh yeah, I'm going to get you a title in the second fight. And he gave it to him right away because he had the WBO in his pocket. And Lomachenko lost the fight to Salido, where he got taken to the Mexican University. And the WBO has a rule. If you lose and you coming off a loss, excuse me, the WBO has a rule. If you coming off a loss, then you cannot fight for the WBO strap. And Lomachenko was coming off a loss to Salido. However, he still fought Gary Russell for the vacant WBO strap. Now, what sense does that make? But they break the rules whenever they want to. So obviously, Errol Spence was very confused on that. And I don't blame him because a lot of people are confused on what the heck is going on in the sport of boxing. Deontay Wilder trying to clean the sport to one face and one name in every division. Hopefully that's the case. I believe the PBC have a plan of establishing a premier boxing champion, the PBC belt, which is a tremendous idea, a great idea if they could execute it. Because you guys got to remember, they have nearly 80% of the fighters. So if Errol Spence could unify against the Crawford, let's say if he is successful and he has all the 4 straps, they could give him this PBC title on top, and it's like the undisputed title. Where Errol Spence after that could throw away all the titles and just have the PBC title. And moving on in the future, if you want to fight for that PBC title, you have to fight under PBC, and they could establish a franchise kind of like the UFC in the MMA. In the MMA, if you want to fight in the UFC, you have to go see Dana White. So if fighters want to fight fighters on PBC, they have to go see Al Heyman and fight under PBC for that PBC strap, which they're trying to establish as the undisputed strap in the future, either for Deontay Wilder, if he could avenge himself after Tyson Fury clearly cheated in front of everybody. People lie, women lie, your eyes don't lie. So I know you guys saw his tamper glove, just like I do. So just like I did. So with that being stated, either one of them guys, if they could execute and become undisputed, then the PBC belt could be given. And timing is everything. So if they give a fighter the PBC strap once he becomes undisputed, then that's going to be the idea of the PBC strap, is the fact that, hey, this is the undisputed champion. And they could pretty much give away with all the titles, and all these corrupt organizations, when they just corrupt in the sport, not benefiting the fighters, because the fighters got to pay for these titles. And we still can't see the best versus the best. Meanwhile, if PBC have the belt, then that's the actual network. And the network benefits, the fighter benefits, and it all makes sense. And we could see the best versus the best. So hopefully that's the case. So I know that was a lot to throw at y'all, but I really wanted to explain to Errol Spence what the heck is going on in the sport of boxing. Like I said, the corruption is real, but hopefully they clear the airwave, you know. And he did ask the question, does the regular title, you know, hold on, what he said, hold on, that shit was hilarious. Are the fees the same percentage? I know the French fries title is more of a percentage, because you got to pay to duck. It's basically you purchasing a belt in order to avoid somebody, like Canelo did to Charlo. However, when it comes to the other question, do every section and body have a regular and super title? Nah, I don't think so. The WBC French fries title is pretty much like the super version, but nobody really taking that belt seriously. So it's pretty much only the WBA. So you can't unify. I don't think you are considered unified champion if you fight for the regular title, the regular WBA title. So if Crawford unifies the WBO with a regular WBA title, I don't think that's going to be considered as him unifying the division and becoming two-time world champion. But the double standards is real, because see, when a guy like Canelo wins the WBA title against a cherry pick of the year, Rocky Fielding, a fighter we all never heard of, he got knocked out by Smith in the first round, right? He fights Smith for this regular title, but everybody consider him a 4-weight division champion now. So I take that back. I guess you are considered a unified champion if you fight for the regular WBA title, because truth be told, they said Canelo Alvarez is a 4-time world champion in 4 different divisions, because he had the regular WBA title, which he cherry picked Rocky Fielding at 168, a fighter that got knocked out in the first round by Smith. So, like I said, if you're gonna say, just as long as you are consistent, if you're gonna say Canelo is the champion, then you got to say Gervonta a champion. You got to say Ugas a champion. If you're going to say Canelo is not a champion, then you got to say Gervonta is not a champion at 135, because I believe he fought Gamboa for the regular WBA title. And you also got to say the same for Ugas. So with that being said, go ahead and pick up some calls. I think I got my man Craig from Vegas. I think that's my man right here. Let me see. Craig from Vegas.
Thank you.
What's going on? Talk to me, brother.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, I was going to bring up this, but I wanted to say this real quick. That dude who was talking about having more tournaments is 100% accurate. You know,
sir.
That Josh Taylor tournament was a good turnout.
Yeah, great tournament. And Josh Taylor shined.
Yeah.
You see how, and thank you for bringing that up, because see, Ramirez, he really didn't want to join the tournament, and he sat on the bench because he was kind of, you know, afraid of the unknown. Oh, I gotta fight Regis, I gotta fight this guy, I gotta fight that guy, and then, you know, truth be told, we all never heard of Josh Taylor. And Josh Taylor, just like Andre Ward at 168, he came and took the division by storm, and he beat Postal with only 12 fights. And he dominated Postal, also moved on and beat every single fighter in the division and the tournament in an impressive fashion. And also the last fight with Regis, it was a great fight. So he shined, and we got to see who the best 140-pounder. Yeah, what'd you say? Say it again.
Yes, I agree. He's the best 140-pounder.
Yeah, so he the best 140-pounder. I don't really consider Ramirez, I believe his name is. I don't really consider him as, I don't know who's going to be the number one. Well, I mean, I don't really see Ramirez as number one, or a question of who's number one. Josh Taylor is number one. Ramirez is number two.
Yeah.
He got to fight and beat Josh in order to be number one.
Yeah, I agree. And let's be honest, you know, the judging since boxing's come back has been really bad.
Oh man, thank you.
With Rolly, that was a total robbery. And then let's be honest, with that Ramirez fight, you could have gave it to Postal.
I actually had it for Postal by 1 round. Yep.
Yeah, and then Ugas, what was it, last night? Man, that was a unanimous decision. There wasn't no
split decision.
And
even though I love split decision because it's the name of my show. The name of my show is Split Decision. So I love to see split decisions, but that was clearly a unanimous decision, like you said. And one judge had it 117 to 111 to Ramos.
You know, and the thing that it's crazy that you have to, and this is and sadly boxing and I guess UFC a little bit are the only two sports where, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm gonna bet on either of the sports, I could do my research. I could listen to you. I could listen to Mr. Boxing Today too, Dante, all the YouTube greats, and I could do my research with boxing scene and this and that. But I also have to think of two before I put my money up. If it's going to be a robbery, you know, you know, Canelo or whatever the case is,
right?
You know, because honestly, I thought Triple G won the first Canelo fight, but that's just my opinion.
Right, and you know, it's funny you say that because you in Vegas.
You always have to think of.
Yeah.
You always got to think. If the judges are gonna rob the fight, who is the fighter that's on, like you always say, the coincidental list or not on the coincidental list that is gonna get it?
Right, and see, you in Vegas, right? So you could gamble, you could place your, you know what I'm saying? It's easy to gamble where you at, so you could go to the casino, put your money on whoever you feel like is gonna win, and that you could be 100% correct that fighter could win. However, if the fighter end up getting robbed, your money, you ended up losing your money. So it's like you said, it's also, you know, you gambling twice. So you gambling when it comes to picking the fighter, and also you got to gamble to, you know, when it comes to the referee. Like I hope not the referee, the judges. I hope the judges aren't corrupted. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful when it comes to that. When you are actually gambling in the sport of boxing, when you placing a bet in the sport of boxing, you have to be careful. And if you're gonna put your money on somebody, make sure that either two fighters on the coincidental list fighting each other, or you know 1,000% there is no robbery going on. Me personally, I will never bet against Canelo, even if I'm picking a fighter to beat Canelo. The only time I bet against Canelo was against Floyd Mayweather and Lara. But I told everybody that would listen, I said Lara is going to get robbed. He's going to win 8 rounds to 4, and he's going to get robbed. And that's exactly what happened. So I didn't put too much money on that. But a Floyd Mayweather fight, I really put a lot of money. And they tried to rob him as well. One judge had it a draw, and the other judges had it close.
I lost a ton of money when Triple G fought Sergey Lomachenko. said Lomachenko, and I thought he won.
See, and he clearly did.
They robbed.
He clearly did. So you got to be careful. You got to really be careful. You know, you really got to be careful nowadays when it comes to gambling, because, like I said, you already got to gamble, but then now you're pretty much gambling twice. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to be careful with that.
But do all the right research, know the ins and outs of the sport.
Right.
And if the judges give it to the guy against you, you lose.
Right. That's horrible.
About it.
Horrible. And just to inform you, Josh Taylor, he reacted today to the WBO ordering Jose Ramirez versus Jack, you know, which is completely bullcrap, because we all thought Ramirez is going to fight Josh Taylor next. So why is the WBO ordering this fight, like, all of a sudden? But from what I'm assuming, they're trying to style the fight because they don't think Ramirez is ready.
Yeah, and the thing is, I did read something. Josh Taylor actually gave, like, I think he had Postal winning that fight too, because I saw an article saying Josh Taylor wasn't impressed by Ramirez's victory.
You 1,000% correct. You 100% correct. He did feel that way, and I felt that way. You know, he ain't the only one. So it was a bad performance by Ramirez, and I'm telling you right now, Taylor's gonna smash him. I'm telling you, Taylor is really gonna put Ramirez. You know, he gonna put. It's gonna be a showcase for Taylor, because you got to remember, Ramirez didn't join the tournament for a reason, because he was really cautious of Rigrius, and Josh Taylor beat Rigrius. So, you know, I believe Josh Taylor will give Crawford a good fight, man. A lot of people keep saying that I'm reaching when I say that, but I tell people that Josh Taylor is a special fighter. I think Josh Taylor is going to move up to welterweight and be one of the best at the welterweight division. I really think he got that, you know, the goods in him. So it's just, can he stay focused? And I believe he will. And if he does get the right opportunities,
he's got another fight in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, he's fighting and I think overseas, yeah, under Frank.
Yeah, 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Josh Taylor, he really got that F factor in him. Like I said, it's few fighters that willing to challenge themselves. I remember when I first heard of Josh Taylor, he beat Postal and all that. Then he came to the tournament and he fought an undefeated American fighter off the gate. And keep in mind, Josh Taylor picked this guy. You know, they didn't force him to fight this guy. He picked this undefeated American. And I was like, man, that's kind of a risky fight for this unknown fighter just to come over here and try to take on a tough challenge.
He was an underdog in that fight.
Yeah, he was an underdog, and he completely dominated. So, like I said, after I saw that, I had him as the favorite. And as we all saw, he won the Ali Trophy. So if you challenge yourself to be great, you will be great.
From that tournament, right? He got 2 titles from that tournament.
Yeah, he got 2 titles now. So he a 2-time world champion. Truth be told, he should be undisputed. You know what I'm saying? So, but he eventually he will be undisputed. So how you feel about the Gary Russell and the Devin Haney situation?
Say it again.
How you feel about the Gary Russell and Devin Haney, you know, back and forth? What's your take on that?
I'll say this. I got Devin Haney, but it wouldn't surprise me if Gary Russell won.
Yeah, that's a tough fight. Yep. You think they're gonna fight?
I think if the numbers are right, yeah. I have a feeling they're not going to do it during the pandemic. They're going to wait for where a crowd can come. But I think in time it'll happen.
Yeah.
Especially if you know, Gary Russell and them keep pursuing it. I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't think it's gonna happen in this year though.
Yeah, well, I hope it does, man. I hope it does, because we haven't had a lot of good fights.
I'm wrong, but I know what they like to do in boxing. They like to build things up for a while before they actually have the fight.
Yep. Just
to get more people to buy it.
That's what they do, man. That's what they do. But you are favoring Devin Haney slightly.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. I think that's how I'm, you know, feeling too, man. I'm leaning toward Devin.
Weight classes, probably the best lightweight. Well, besides, I mean, the best lightweight with the title right now, I think that's risky.
Yeah, that's risky, man. That's risky. Jumping 2 weight classes, especially against a fighter that have a frame to be a welterweight right now. So, it's gonna be tough for Gary Russell. But he definitely he gained a lot of respect points. So, any last thoughts you have, my man? Any more information?
Yeah, I was going to bring up this. On Thursday, Boxing Scene did an article. I don't know if you've seen it, but Eddie Hearn had the nerve to say, if Deontay Wilder doesn't take the Tyson Fury rematch, he should retire because he's accomplished enough in his career by winning a title.
Man.
Now, we know that's not true. That guy, and I'd never heard of him until I saw the interview, but Tay Jones said there's no way in hell he's not taking the rematch.
Right.
So I don't know what Ed Hearn's trying to do, and maybe it's got to be because of Joshua, and he knows he's not going to make any money off the third fight, so he's just trying to get one of his guys to fight Fury before Wilder is. But I thought it was a really, really stupid, unnecessary comment, and it just shows you how much Eddie Hearn doesn't know about what's going on in the boxing world.
Yeah, it's just he says a lot of unnecessary things, like that right there. I heard about that, right? I actually, read the headline, but why would you say that when you have a fighter? You need to worry about your own fighters. Dillian White is coming off a knockout loss, a devastating loss. You need to make sure is Dillian White A-okay. I mean, he's still waiting to this day, and he ain't became champion. You know what I mean? So why are you worried about the longest reigning heavyweight champion with 10 title defenses? He already have a rematch clause. He already said, I want my revenge, and he's willing to fight Tyson Fury a third time. So, I don't understand why Eddie Hearn is saying these things when it's not his business. You don't have no business when it comes to Deontay Wilder nor Tyson Fury.
AJ's got to fight Pulev and who is it? Usyk before he can even fight Fury.
Yeah.
Those are two mandatory.
And Pulev is not going to accept step aside
He's not
money.
Going to back down.
Yeah, but funny you say, but you inform me on this. But what's crazy is Eddie Hearn in the past says that Deontay Wilder clout chase off Anthony Joshua name, but apparently Eddie can't keep Deontay Wilder name off his mouth. Ever since before Wilder lost and after he lost, I mean Eddie Hearn. I don't know if does he want to become Deontay Wilder, promoter or something? Like he's just promoting Wilder for free. He always talking about Wilder daily. I don't know, man. I think Eddie Hearn talks about Wilder more than he talks about Anthony Joshua, if I'm being honest. Like every time he speaks about like I said, the heavyweight division, he's always mentioning Wilder. When again, he don't fight under his network, and also that's not his fighter. So, I think Eddie Hearn need to mind his own business. He got his own issues. He have Dillian White issues. He also have Anthony Joshua business that he needs to take care of. And Pulev is a good fighter, so Anthony Joshua better not sleep on him.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yes, sir. So with that being said, great talking with you, Craig. So, lay out your last couple comments before I let you go.
Yeah, that's it, boss. I'll let you get on to the next caller. Appreciate you having me on your platform, as always.
I appreciate it, Craig. Thank you, my man. That's my man, Craig from Vegas, coming in with that knowledge. So I'm about to pick up a couple more calls, but I'm going to do the outro to be on the safe side. So before I do so, I reported yesterday on Wilder bicep injury. Now, all the decafs that don't know shit about boxing, they came through and they talking about, another excuse. Wilder making another excuse. But this is why they won't call in to split decision. Because they are afraid of the truth. The truth is their kryptonite. How is Wilder making excuses when Wilder didn't say anything at all? In order to make an excuse, you have to speak. In order to make an excuse, you have to do an interview. In order to make an excuse, you have to talk to a writer. But Deontay Wilder made zero excuses. He suffered a bicep injury, right? Like he suffered a bicep injury. And he made zero excuses when he could have made excuses. But being the warrior that Wilder is, he chose not to make excuses. But these decafs flooded my comment section with their idiotic comments. Oh, Wilder making another excuse. When Wilder didn't say anything at all. It's Deontay Wilder's sparring partner, Junior Fall. He revealed this information, I believe, to Sky Sport. Wilder had nothing to do with this. It was Fall who came out and spoke out of pocket. Matter of fact, Wilder haven't said anything about it at all. So I'm going to leave the video in the comment section below. But more importantly, like I stated before, that's why Lance Plugmeyer, he got busted capping, lying on Deontay Wilder's behalf. What you do in the dark, what you do in the dark will eventually come to light. Lance Plugmeyer lied on Deontay Wilder, claimed that Wilder said the reason why he lost is because of the heavy suit, when that was a complete lie. And Tay Jones, a Deontay Wilder team member, came out and exposed Lance Plugmeyer for doing so. But more importantly, again, I'm going to raise the $1 million question. If you are in Deontay Wilder position and you want to make an excuse to why you lost in a devastating fashion, would you blame your loss on a costume being too heavy, or would you blame it on a bicep injury that you sustained a week prior to the fight during the last sparring? And that's a fact. I already confirmed the information and all of that. You all could view the information in the comment section below. But the question is as clear as day. Would you blame the loss on a costume or a bicep injury that you sustained? It's a no-brainer. You're going to blame on the bicep injury. So if Wilder wanted to make an excuse, he would have blamed on his bicep. He don't have to say nothing about no freaking costume. But again, Lance Plugmeyer lied to every single person, and they ran with it, claiming that Wilder blamed the loss on a costume when it was Tyson Fury tampered glove. People lie, women lie, old media definitely lie. However, your eyes don't lie, and you all could clearly see Tyson Fury gloves being tampered with. So since that's the case, we all know the reason why Wilder lost in a devastating fashion is because Tyson Fury went from the pillow-fisted fighter that he is to the Iron Mike Tyson by tampering with his gloves. Doctors co-sign this. We have witnesses such as Nicholas Asbury, coaches such as Barry, a Hall of Fame multi-trainer, an MMA trainer. Like I said, even doctors that have proof of Deontay Wilder's dent in his head that you could no way cause a dent in a person's head with a 10-ounce heavyweight gloves on. It's physically impossible. You will break a bone before denting someone's skull. So all I'm saying is the truth is already out. The decafs are desperate. They keep lying. They keep trolling. But like I said, they keep talking with their emotional opinion, but opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Some opinions are bigger than most, just like there are a-holes bigger than most. So come out of the closet, decafs. We know y'all have female parts. We know y'all don't have cojones. Call in to split decision if you disagree. I can't pay a decaf to call in like I informed every single one of my AKHis. So, like I said, time and time again, Deontay Wilder, he will go down as the warrior of the century. The man suffered a bicep injury. The man suffered multiple things that went wrong. He talked about none of that. I challenge you to find one interview with where Wilder blamed the loss on a costume, or where Wilder, out of his own mouth, blamed the loss on a bicep injury. You ain't gonna find it. He made zero excuses, nada. He the warrior of the century going up against the cheater of the century, Fury. Obviously, he got the complexion for the connection. He got the best hope insurance in the world. Man took steroids in the past. That's a fact. Changed the story to depression story. The man don't have the cojones because he stay eating that wild boar, that contaminated meat that's not allowing his cojones to grow. That's why Tyson Fury have to resort to cheating when fighting the best. Meanwhile, Wilder got out of the mud. So in order for Tyson Fury to beat Wilder, after suffering a nearly death experience when he was tampering with his left glove, what he chose to do is tamper with his glove, with his right gloves also. That's exactly what he did, and that's Glovegate 2.0. Like I said, time and time again, we have a mountain of evidence. And just like Deontay Wilder, team member that I interviewed on Split Decision, Wilder has a huge announcement coming, and old media, they keep trying to paint the narrative of new media blowing smoke when new media is the real media. It ain't no smoke. It's a freaking wildfire in the jungle. And old media is trying to ignore it. But you can't contain the truth. The truth already got out there. So I just wanted to say that to expose all the decafs. I am short on time, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pick up some calls. Damn. Excuse my language. But we'll go ahead and pick up a call or two. Just, you know, but let me do the outro. Subscribe below if you're trying to get smart about a minute. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't listen to these dumb, casual ass fans. These decafs that don't know shit about boxing. Word to Roger Mayweather. So to all the
You
decafs,
better not duck me, son.
and grow the
You
cojones
better not
and call
duck
in.
me, son.
And to all the decafs in the comment section, please tell me why you always hate, but don't have the cojones to call in, because anybody can get it on Split Decision. Even my own broski, my own IMA could get it. Like I said today, Pro Education tried to act like he wanted to debate. When he called in, things got too real. And to this day, I wish a decal would call in, man. Man, I'm praying on the day that decaf grow the cojones to call in. I ran out of decaps. A trillion of decaps can't hold me back. Quit treating IKHi like the Iron Mike Tyson of debating the most fear. With a record of 800 debates with 800 KOs, easy work. Allah only made a couple things perfect. Floyd Mayweather undefeated record, and IKHi on Split Decision and on Boxing Hood in general. So with that being stated, if you want to be an IKHi of mine, a broski of mine, IKHi stand for my brother. So in order to be one, all you have to do is not just subscribe, but also click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live on Split Decision and Boxing Hood. Join me on Boxing Hood. Is the Brotherhood of Boxing, is a talk show, not a debate show, but I'm still willing to challenge decafs. So tune in every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the schedule. So to keep up with me, all you have to do is click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live. Like I stated before, Split Decision is mixed, master, engineered, produced by yours truly, IKHi, the past, present, and future. Undisputed pound for pound when it comes to debating. I got these decafs shook. They scared to look every time IKHi's on TV because it's always bad news. Since IKHi stays preaching, I don't even be out here reporting anymore. I be out here preaching the truth, the absolute truth, the whole truth. I always put the truth together like puzzle. So with that being stated, much love and appreciation to every single one of my IKHis. I've been humbled by all the love and support. Meanwhile, the decafs, y'all amuse me, man. The hate amuse me. because anybody can get it.
But you could call me the
But these
can man, 'cause
decafs
anybody can get it.
have no
Africans,
cojones,
Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans,
and
anybody
they want
can
zero
get it.
confrontation. So with that being stated, like I said before, and time again, I don't have any more time to actually pick up calls because, you know, the time is up. But for all the people that's actually on the line, my man 631-972-971, please call in this Wednesday or Thursday on Boxing Hood episode 5. I will definitely pick up y'all calls first. I'm gonna take a screenshot and make sure I pick up y'all calls first. So with that being stated, I appreciate every single one of you guys, and to be continued on the next episode of AKHi TV. Peace, and we are.
Anybody can get
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can.